My first trip to Vegas was more about the drive than about actually being there. It's a really long drive. And wow, did I make some bad decisions on this trip. A few months before the trip, I go out and I buy a small sports car. It's a Honda Del Sol, 94, red. Still have the car, that sweetie that you've seen in the other videos that I'm getting fixed up. Love this car. So I go and I buy it, and it's used and cheap, and I get it fixed up a little bit, like couple $100, so it runs great, and have them re-time it and do everything. And there's a trade show coming up in Las Vegas, and Elf's is only a few years old, and this would be my first trade show to go to. And this is back when everything's still hush hush, so even getting invited to a trade show was a big problem to find. And so we're like, well, I gotta go to there. It'd be great for the company, great for the business. And so I asked my best friend if he wants to go, because the car's a stick, 5-speed, and the girlfriend who I've been promising to take to a trade show if we ever go to one someday can't drive a 5-speed. And she's like, well, why don't we take my car? And I'm like, yeah, we could do that, but I just bought a sports car, and I want to drive it to fucking Vegas, through the mountains, through the desert, middle of summer, top off. It'd be fucking epic, And so that's our big fight. She was pissed about that. But so me and my friend leave to go to drive to Vegas. And I figure, well, okay, it's like 44-hour trip, and I'll drive till I'm tired, then he can drive till he's tired, and whoever's not driving can be sleeping in the passenger seat, and we'll be good to go. Yeah, there was fault number one. I didn't count that in a tiny little sports car. This is a model what the car looks like. See? In a little car like that, the seat reclines about as much as they do on airplanes. From here, they're about there. Oh yeah. Now I'm fucking relaxed. Oh yeah. Whoo! I'm so glad I could sleep here. And you can't even lay up against nothing because the sunlight's just blinding you from every direction. And I ended up using the seatbelt as a sling to rest my head on most of the time, because my dumbass, of course, didn't think to bring a pillow. Tiny car, didn't think of a pillow. We did plan ahead, though. I brought 44 joints with me. I figured we'd start with one, and then we'd smoke one every hour on the hour. Yeah, that was mistake number 2. Because we didn't figure that it takes some of these joints are real thick and long, and it'd take like 15 minutes to a half hour to smoke one. So we just finished smoking one, and now after joint 14 or 20, it's taking us even longer to smoke one, and we're smoking the joint back and forth, and holy shit, by the time I got to Vegas, my lungs were crispy. I was kind of tired of smoking. Hell of a trip, though, driving there. So we're driving there. We just get 4 hours down the road, and the hose that plugs into the air conditioning pops. Psst. That's one of the things I had them fixed, so when I heard it and the air conditioning stopped working, I knew what it was. We looked at the next rest area, and the hose just comes unconnected from the connector. It doesn't seal properly in there. Great. Not going to head back to Green Bay and cancel the trip because we don't have air conditioning. We got a convertible. It's not going to rain. It's fucking Vegas. We'll just drive there with convertible. It'll be awesome. More epic. dumbass. It's August. So, you know, it's hot. And being in a convertible with it being hot just means it's a hairdryer blowing on you. You know, so it's, we'll get to that. So we get through there. Okay, no air conditioning, just have the windows down, driving. Finally get to Denver. Mind you, Denver's not even legal yet. So we get to Denver and we decide, well, we're in Denver for the first time. I'm stopping at Perkins. I want a Denver omelet. I'm in fucking Denver. You know what's not on the menu in Perkins and Denver? A Denver omelet. What's like everywhere else in the world? And I'm like, okay. I'm kind of bummed. They're like, what? I'm like, well, I really want a Denver omelet. And they're like, oh, we just took it off the menu, but we can still make it for you that way, blah, 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 blah. Do that, please. I mean, just because I'm in fucking Denver, you know? It's like coming to Wisconsin and not having cheese or a beer, you know? It's just things you don't do. So we get that, go up over the mountains. Oh, yeah, they have lowered the speed limit in the mountains now. The highway goes up, that goes through the Eisenhower tunnels, you know. They lowered the speed there, or we just weren't paying attention and still thought it was 80 and 90 going through some of those turns. Because, man, this last year we went through, I'm like, wow, these are sensible speeds. When we went through, I thought I was still following the speed limit sign. And I thought, wow, these speeds are really fucking fast, even in this little car, as the tires are going through the turns on the interstate. So, yeah, don't recommend going 90. Not a good speed to go through all those, up the mountain and down the other side. The turns are a little sharp. Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't get pulled over. Good thing we didn't. So we get down the other side of mountains and going down through Utah. Oh, that's boring. Like, who the fuck would want to live out here? And I'm driving, and Jason's asleep. And he wakes up and he's like, turn off the damn heater. Because the car was overheating climbing the mountain, so we'd have to turn the heater on because the little ass engine that's in Sweet here says she just doesn't have enough power to get up the mountains. You'd have to downshift. Well, then the engine temperature comes up, so then you have to upshift, so that comes down. You can turn on the heater, and you can get that heat to drop faster. And he thought I still had the heater running, and I'm like, it's not. Put your hand out the window. And he puts down his window, puts his hand out. He's like, what the fuck? You know, because as we pull into there, turn on the radio, it's hot. It's just like hot there. We don't know how hot it is. We're driving through Nevada, coming in from the north to Vegas. So I call it the northern way. I don't know. It's hot, and we see this rest area. We stop at that, and it's just fucking amazing because everything else is desert brown burnt. This little rest area has perfectly green watered grass and a perfect square for their rest area thing. And I'm just like, wow, it's still hot as fuck all, but at least this part of the world is green. Because that's what I really don't like about going out west, is that everything is shades of brown. You know, I like shades of green. You know, green's my favorite color. So we had to leave the little green paradise square, finish driving into Vegas, and we get to Vegas, check in the hotel, turn on the TV, and the Weather Channel's news and weather's talking about the weather for today and for tomorrow. And the lady goes, we hope to be down into the teens later on this week. What? Oh, their idea of teens has a totally different idea than we do here in Green Bay. When they say we're going to be down in the teens later on this week, they're talking about like 19 degrees. When they say it in Vegas, they're talking about 119 degrees because that day's temperature was 124. And I'm like, it's a fucking 124 degrees out here. Why would anyone live here. What the fuck? That's just stupid. Too damn hot there. That was the trip going to there. We go and do the trade show. That's a whole epic story all in its own. Just first time at a trade show, not knowing my ass from a hole in the ground, and everything that happened there, somehow I managed to not get mugged or robbed, and we completed our transactions and were able to leave. Like I said, there'll be a whole story on that sometime. Leaving, we took the southern route to Vegas because I like to see the sights. That's one of the reasons we drive, is so I can see the different things along the way. You know, if they had the world's largest frying pan, I would go fucking look at if it wasn't too far out of my way. The other reason is because you can't fly with weed. So we're driving the southern way, and we go to Hoover Dam. Yes, I'm going to still call it Hoover Dam. And this was before the bypass was built, so you actually drove over Hoover Dam, and that's back when they still had water up it. I mean, it had a bathtub ring, but it still had water in Hoover Dam, so that was pretty neat to see. And all of Lake Mead. Lake Mead was actually a lake then. So then we go up out of there and took the southern way all the way back up, and the drive back was pretty uneventful, except for that long-ass road going through Arizona. I mean, there's another place. Who the fuck would want to live there? You know, it's like, I swear, 2 hours, 4 hours down one interstate, straight as an arrow. I mean, I could let go of the steering wheel and not touch it the whole time, you know, because the car handles great. It didn't do anything, and it was just boring. And you look out here on the side, and there's like one trailer sitting way out there, and I'm like, oh God, I hope they don't have kids, because that's where serial killers are made. You know, what'd you do today? Oh, I watched the world burn. You know, everything's brown. Why is all the rocks and everything brown? Oh, because the sun's already burning it. Yeah, terrible place. New Mexico, on the other hand, they know they suck. They know the weather sucks. They know their climate sucks. They know the ground sucks. There's nothing grows there. So they put art installations along the interstate. Light up ones at night, and, you know, neat ones to see during the day. Just driving down the interstate every exchange. Fucking amazing. You know, way to go, New Mexico. I actually like that. That was pretty cool. You know, what else you gonna do? At least be better than being in Arizona. I mean, drove the rest of the way home. It's a pretty good drive. Jason did get mad at one part because, you know, he needed to get a drink of water, and I didn't pull over quick enough to stop. And I'm like, but there's not a gas station for like 2 hours. And he's like, you just missed one 10 minutes ago. And, you know, but other than that, he was a great companion to take on road trips. He never peed. He literally didn't have any kidneys. So he was a great driver because you never had to stop at a rest area for him. You know, as long as you got him to a dialysis center every 3 days, he was right as rain. You know, it was awesome. So that's why I always took him on road trips. It was great for that. Yeah. Little car, not necessarily the best one for a road trip yet. I figure when I put a luggage rack on the back and fix her up a little bit, she'll be great. We'll watch the other shows for that. All right, puff, puff, pass, no parking on the grass. I'm out of here. I brought 44 joints with me. I'm surprised I didn't get pulled over.